Believe it or not, summer is just around the corner. Luckily, Armor All, America's most trusted auto appearance brand, has what your car needs to get that perfect summer shine. Plus, now through May 31st, we'll give you $5 for every $20 you spend on Armor All products. That means car wash pods, protectant, tire shine, you name it. Find out how to get your $5 rebate at armorall.com. Armor All, less work, more clean. Terms apply.
How would you like a 15% discount to my daily email, the stack of stuff, the show notes, discounts to the conference, all of that? All you need to do is text the word show to 33777. You'll get the annual subscription with a 15% discount to my daily email. You'll get the stack of stuff, the links to the show notes, discounts to the conference, and so much more. All you have to do is text the word show, SHOW, to 33777. Text show to 33777.
Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show podcast, Hour 3.
Hello, America. Welcome. It's Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Open line today for everybody as I step out the next couple days, do a lot of cooking and enjoying family time. I hope y'all do as well. I actually want to talk about Thanksgiving with you today. I have a friend who he uses the phrase touch grass, that people need to touch grass. You know, it's just a random tangent here. You know, there's a growing body of scientific evidence that walking barefoot in the grass actually is therapeutic. For reasons I don't quite understand, there's actually a growing body of like real academic research that walking barefoot, somehow grounding yourself, and I know people practice it, they call it grounding. It sounds absurd, but there's actually a lot of evidence that it's actually good for your body to walk in the grass, unless you have cats who've been pooping in the grass. But there's actually a growing body of evidence of it. So a buddy of mine talks about touching grass, that your people, they get so wrapped up in politics, they get so wrapped up online, they get so wrapped up in being always constantly in front of a screen. You got to go outside and touch grass. It is harder if you are obsessed with politics to be thankful right now. I want to say something to you in all sincerity and honesty. If an election alters your mood beyond the fleeting passing news of the election, you won or lost. If a week later your mood is still altered because of the election, you may have made politics an idol. John Calvin talks about our hearts are perpetual factories of idols. You may have made politics an idol. The left, always in perpetual protest and perpetual activism, has made politics an idol. They worship at the altar of politics. I'm actually writing a book on this topic, the rise of progressive wokeism as a new religion in the country. Don't be like that. There's an interesting phenomenon that's now well documented. The people least obsessed with politics in this country are the happiest. The people who, they show up and vote. I mean, we're talking people who they do engage as American citizens, but they're not stewed in politics all the time. They're not obsessed with politics. These are the happiest people in the country. Think about the people on the left who indoctrinate their kids into the climate hysteria that we're all going to die. We've got 10 years left. These people are miserable. Their children are the ones most likely to suffer from depression. If you're a progressive and you're listening to me right now, you're hate listening, you want to find out what the other side says, I really want you to take this to heart. I really, really genuinely want you to take this to heart. children of progressives in this country, according to a lot of academic research, are vastly more prone to suffer depression and despair than the children of conservatives. They're vastly more prone to suffer despair and depression than the children of people who go to church. And the reason is overwhelming in the research that the parents of progressive kids tend to spin their children up into doom and gloom and despair over the politics of other people or the inability to get their way, over climate change, transgenderism, and a host of social ills and social justice issues. Progressive parents psychologically impute their own trauma to their children. And what you get is a group of misguided, malcontented souls who protest in the streets at the march of a hat, or at the drop of a hat. They see everything as a world between the oppressed and the oppressor. They align their values on who they think is the most oppressed. And they need no rhyme, reason, or logic or sense of history to do that. And then they chronically, perpetually lose these fights or don't advance the way they think they should advance at the speed they think they should advance, and they turn themselves over to despair and their children over to despair, and they cannot be thankful. But there's something else too. There are people on the right who also need to go touch some grass. You know, I've given up trying to be hyper diplomatic when it comes to talking with a lot of people who support Donald Trump. Because unless you express abject fealty, any criticism at all is deemed a smear. There's no nuance. You got to be all in, or else you're not in at all. You can be 99% in, but if you're 1% out, you're 100% out. And I will tell you that there are a lot of people who support him. Not all. Maybe I'm not talking about you. Have you ever thought about that? But there are a lot of people who support him. The focus groups of his supporters bear this out. Not the polling, the focus groups. That there are a lot of people convinced that the end of America is nigh and we must support him as the only person capable of saving it. So your view of this country is that it's coming to an end and this one last thing can save it. Y'all, I've been told every election is the most important election in our lifetimes, and I've stopped saying it because I think it's disingenuous at this point. I used to believe it. Oh, if we don't get this next election right, it's all over. And every election has been like that. You mark my words. You mark my words. If Republicans do not win the 2024 election, they will tell everyone in 2028 that if we lose this election, it's all over. If they win in 2024, they will say in 2028, if we lose this election, it's all over. And in 2028, regardless of the outcome of 2024, they will tell you that this is the last election. If we don't get this one right, we'll have no more elections. The Democrats are starting to do the same thing. You've actually got like on Morning Joe now, they're talking about Donald Trump's going to execute the people that he disagrees with. Heightened rhetoric. And I know what they're thinking there. Donald Trump says all this stuff. We might as well do it too. We might as well play his game. There's only one Donald Trump. But what happens with both sides is they begin to believe the BS they're telling each other. In your echo chamber of gloom and despair, you begin to believe it's all over. It's coming to an end. The left believes that this country is going to be over in less than 10 years because of climate change. The right believes this country is over in less than 10 years because of progressives. They both believe this country is coming to an end. They need to go touch some grass. Get off the internet. Turn off the news and go live life. I am thankful for this country. I have a lot of friends on the Christian right who have decided the country's bad. Look at how these abortion votes are going. The country's not virtuous anymore. God's going to smack us, and we deserve it. Theologically, I'm sympathetic to that issue, but I mean, my goodness, this country's been like this for a while, people. Suddenly, you're only just now suddenly realizing this after years of Roe v. Wade. There are people willing to take your spot as an American citizen. If you think the country's that bad, if you think the United States is that bad of a country, trade with someone, because there are plenty of people literally willing to die to come to this country to sit around on Thanksgiving, eat a giant overstuffed bird out of an oven while they watch football and laugh at you thinking this country's a terrible place. They would give anything to trade places with you. We do live in the shining city on the hill. Could it use some polish? Absolutely. Could it use some freshening up and some window cleaning so the shine shines a little brighter? Absolutely. We're not flawless. We're not perfect. We're just more perfect than we would be individually. And we are more perfect than all these other countries out there. There are 200 countries on the planet, and we're the best one. Now, I actually know that there are people, including those of the conservative movement. I've heard some say in the past that, well, everybody says that. In China, they think they're the best country. In France, they think they're the best country. Get out and touch grass, people around the world, because I've lived around the world. I have been to more countries than states, and I can assure you that no country has such a high opinion of itself as our country does, nor is it earned. In this country, we actually are the best country, because I've gone to every other country and met people who want to come to our country. Rarely have I ever met an American who says, I think I'd like to move to Canada. Though there are some, but not many. Way more Canadians think highly of this country. I don't know anybody in this country outside of a few fringe people that, I think I would rather move to Yemen. Meanwhile, there are a number of Yemeni people trying to flee their civil war who would love to come to the United States and swap places with you, who would make world-class American citizens of hard work ethic behaviors who would raise children to love this country and not hate it. It's the natural-born American citizen who's the most biggest hater of America. You should go touch grass. Walk outside in your bare feet, the cool of the day, with the grass on your feet. Not think about politics. Not think about how your side may be losing a political fight, because most people out there in this country, they're just trying to get through the day and get home to their family, and they love this country. The people who hate the country the most are the ones in policy and politics trying to fundamentally change it, trying to get us out of our pickup trucks into battery-powered cars and the like, and they're not winning. And they're not winning because Americans institutionally, philosophically, they understand the people who don't like this country. It's why the left is losing right now. The left can never be happy when they win. They won the White House. They had Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats in charge of the Senate for a little while. And they were still angry. Now the Republicans barely control the House. The Democrats control the Senate. The Democrats control the White House. And the Democrats, they're still angry. Win or lose, they're still angry. Because they're perpetually convinced that the nation is bad and must be changed so that in some way it can be good. And the American people turn their back on it and say, no, we're already good. Democrats need to touch grass a whole lot more than Republicans, but there are a lot of Republicans out there convinced the world is coming to an end, the country's coming to an end, we're all going to hell in a handbasket, we got to vote for Trump or do something in order to change. No, folks, we're going to be fine. We're not going to like the policy outcomes of the Biden administration. If Joe Biden gets reelected, we're not. But the country is still outperforming every other country. As much as our economy sucks right now, it's still better than every other economy on the planet, which is remarkable. My point is just this. Those of you who spend too much time watching the news and being online, you have a harder and harder time being thankful for anything because you think the end is nigh. And the people further removed from that, the people who are just out there going to work, coming home, spending time with family, they're really grateful to be Americans. And if you're not grateful to be an American, if you're not thankful for this country, despite its flaws, if you're not thankful for this country, there's something mentally, psychologically wrong with you. It's not the rest of us. It's actually you. You are the problem. If you're not thankful for the United States of America, warts and all, if you're not thankful for it, you're the problem, not the rest of us. We live the last best hope for mankind. We live in the shining city on a hill. We live in the nation where other people around the world look to it as the embodiment of democracy and the embodiment of freedom, and people are literally willing to die to try to get here. That makes us unique. It makes us special. It makes us Americans. And I am profoundly grateful and thankful for being one. And you should be too. And if you can't be, there's something wrong with you, not the rest of us.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hi there. So I got to tell you, I need you to know that I'm dealing with an email correspondent. Okay. If you email me in all caps and say you are never listening to my show again because you hate my guts and you feel betrayed, and then you continue to email me about the things I say on the radio that you agree with, and then you email me that you're upset that I'm no longer responding to your emails, maybe there's a causal connection to you saying you'll never listen again to there's no reason to respond to this crazy person. Y'all, I mean, come on, grow up. I won't go into all the details, but you'd be amazed at the number of people who email and want me to know they're never listening again, and then email me running commentaries on the stuff I'm saying on the radio. I thought you weren't going to listen anymore. It's okay. I'm glad you're listening. Even if you hate listening, I'm glad you're listening. Just it never gets old. All right, when we come back, we're going to say y'all's favorite topic. It's the one that always fires you up: electric vehicles. There's a problem. Market forces are conspiring to impede the development of electric cars. Why? Because the market for lithium has cratered so much that it is not profitable to open new mines, and that's having a direct impact on electric vehicles, among other things. I can't wait to talk to you about this one. But first, I need to tell you about Vision Computer. Y'all need a computer from Vision. If you're a PC, they don't do Macs. Only Apple does Macs. But if you want a PC, they can build it for you, a laptop or a desktop. So you don't have to go through the online outfit, or you don't have to go through the big box one-size-fits-all store. You actually work with Vision Computer, and they build you the computer of your dreams that lasts and is upgradable, and then they service it for you. But they don't just do it for you at home. They do it for you at your office. So if you're a small businessman and you need computers for all of your staff, you can get a great deal from Vision Computers, and then Vision can be your IT department. Anyone in your company has a question about their computer, they can call Vision and get it answered 15 seconds or less. They answer the phone faster than a Google search. Saves you time, saves you on overhead, saves you on staffing, saves you peace of mind, and keeps you up and running. All you do is go to visioncomputers.com, or better yet, call them, 404-COMPUTE. If you call Vision Computers at 404-COMPUTE anywhere nationwide, you tell them Eric Erickson sent you, they're going to be able to save you even more money. It's 404-COMPUTE. Any of you listening nationwide can take advantage of it. 404-COMPUTE. Call Vision Computers, tell them I sent you, let them cut you a great deal and service your computers.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Are you a fist pumper? A woo-hooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver. I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Can I just, have you all seen the picture of Joe Biden and his birthday cake? Have you all seen this? It is this, I mean, they literally put 81 candles on it. And this thing is in flames. It looks like his foreign policy or his polling. It is remarkable. Hey, do you know the meme of the dog sitting at the counter drinking the coffee saying this is fine while everything's on fire around him? It's that meme come to life with Joe Biden. I mean, the flames on this thing. Who thought this was a good idea to release a picture like that of Joe Biden laughing, smiling in front of a fireball of a birthday? I have no idea who thought that was a good idea. All right, the phone number 877-973-7425. Dan, you're going to be up next. Welcome.
Hi, Eric. Thanks for having me on. I'm formerly from Woodstock, Georgia, now in Fort Myers, Florida, but I hope your wife's Ironman went well.
Man, okay, well, let me tell you, she pulled that UPS truck, and it's on the Christmas card this year now. She made sure to put that picture on the card.
That's awesome. And I'm a subscriber, so I got your email today, and I totally agree with you. The email being, we have two of the worst possible candidates being proposed to be on the ticket for both parties, and it is horrible. And I don't understand why people have forgotten that in the 4 years that Donald Trump was president, and even though he got some things right and we're good, the entire time was a fight. It was a constant fight with the Democrats. They made stuff up. They're going to do the same thing again. Why would we put ourselves through 4 more years of that torture and that craziness for one guy for just 4 years? Why can't we have someone better? Anyone better than that?
Who could serve for 8? Okay. Yeah. Look, I understand why. I really do understand why people like Trump and have his back. They feel like he got a raw deal. The Democrats discredited him immediately, claiming the election was stolen in 2016. We can't forget that they're the stolen election people. That they never gave him a fair shake. They tried to obstruct his cabinet. I get all of that, but what's going to change this time? Right. I mean, you pour all of your effort into getting him elected, you're going to lose money that could be spent on the Senate. So the Democrats might hold the Senate. They might pick back up the House, and they're not going to give him anything. So what can he possibly accomplish that they can't then undo? That's what frustrates me. So this goes Dan to the issue, like I mentioned earlier on Giorgia Meloni. A lot of conservatives in the United States upset she hasn't gotten done the stuff she promised to get done. Well, there's a process. There's a multi-party coalition. She can only do so much. Trump can only do so much as president. You need a House and Senate. And he doesn't have any money to run for president because it's all going to lawyers. So all the money that would go to win the Senate will have to go to him, which might cost us the Senate. And then he gets nothing done. That's frustrating.
He cost us the Senate in Georgia.
He did.
Clearly, he was one of the reasons we do it. And people just ignore the fact that his pettiness and his bad choices lost us the Senate. We would have had control of the Senate.
Yep.
It's silliness.
It is. And look, I think it's people who are more interested in being mad at the other side, and whatever provokes the other side, that's what they're going to go with. And Trump certainly incites the other side. Here's my honest to God, this is my honest fear. When you look at the fundamental dynamics underlying the race, Democrats are not enthusiastic about Joe Biden. This is the thing that bothers me the most about the GOP going down the road towards giving Trump another nomination. In all seriousness, Democrats are not enthusiastic about Joe Biden. They are concerned about his age. They are concerned about his cognitive abilities. A lot of black Democrats are disenchanted with him, and they're likely to stay home. The only thing that will change that is Trump as the Republican nominee, because Donald Trump incites the passions of Democrats more than any other Republican candidate. And so a lot of people who may stay home will show up and vote if Trump's the nominee. So the GOP pours all of its money into helping Trump, which might cost us the ability to pick up the Senate and the House, hold the House. If it's successful, he only gets 4 years. But in the meantime, it's less of a sure thing than any of the other candidates, because he will turn out the Democratic base in ways no one else will. And we know that. We've seen this in 2018, in 2020, in 2021, in 22, in 23. Donald Trump mobilizes the passions of the Democratic base. We lost 2018, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. Except the candidates who distanced themselves from him, they won. So I just don't see why the GOP should pour that much energy into one man who, to get him across the finish line, we may sacrifice a lot of other people getting them across the finish line, and then he only gets 4 years. Any of the other nominees would get 8 years, potentially. Incumbency has an advantage. Even Joe Biden has an incumbency advantage. It may not register as much, but by November of next year, it'll be apparent he's got an incumbency advantage. A lot of people are like, why do we want to go back to the madness of the mean tweets in World War III? We could stay with the old dementia patient. Look, there are lots of people out there who don't like either guy, but they'll go with Biden because they philosophically, fundamentally, they despise Donald Trump. He is a more polarizing person than Biden. It's just a mathematical calculus. That's my frustration. The thing that keeps me worried at night about the way the GOP is headed is they do not appreciate how much Donald Trump will mobilize a Democratic base that is disaffected by their own side, who would stay home with any other candidate. But for Trump, they've so convinced themselves he is the threat to democracy, they will show up to stop him. What do you do? Now, I gotta talk about the markets, the batteries. I gotta play you this audio real quick. This is a guy full of common sense on the streets of Great Britain, yelling at the oil mob, who are the protesters, the anti-oil protesters. Let me see if I can get his audio played for you here.
Stop oil. All your stuff is made out of oil, you idiots. Your clothes, these jackets, they're all made out of oil. What the hell are you doing here, making a nuisance of yourselves? It's a joke. What a joke. What are you doing here? Get out the road. You're wasting everybody's time and petrol. All these guys, their engines are running all the time, wasting more bloody oil, you nutters. What is this made out of? What are your clothes made out of? How did your clothes get here? They got here by oil. What are you doing? This makes no sense at all. Just stop oil. You haven't thought about this. If you want to stop oil, you need to stay at home and go and live in the forest.
Well said, British man. Well said. So in Britain, they had massive protests, the Just Stop Oil campaign, where they were sitting in the streets blocking traffic, and this guy comes out and he's like, literally, the clothes you are wearing, the polyester you're wearing, is a byproduct of oil. You're causing people to idle their engines, waiting for you to get out of the road, making them consume oil. The clothes that you're wearing come from ships that use oil. And of course, they wouldn't get out of the way because they're pushing people towards electric vehicles. CNBC reporting today, Ford has decided to scale back plans for its $3.5 billion Michigan battery plant as electric vehicle demand disappoints and labor costs rise. That's right. Remember, Ford and the union, they negotiated, they got everything back to work, and now costs are going up, so they're scuttling the battery plant in Michigan because of union dues costs, union labor costs, and EV price costs. And then Joe Biden's electric vehicle push has hit a speed bump, according to the Wall Street Journal. Mining projects are being delayed after a plunge in battery metal prices. A surprise crash in the prices for lithium, cobalt, and other metals made in the EV batteries is hitting mining companies. They're suspending or delaying new projects and expansions, and this is causing a disruption and deepening shortages of the materials for electric vehicles. Why? Because the Chinese economy is in freefall. And the Chinese produce most of these metals. And nobody in China can afford an EV right now, which has which has crippled demand. And so that's hurting the supply. Why? Because to open new mines, it's expensive. So here's the irony here. This is the delicious irony of all of this. The left decided to manufacture government hurdles to drive up the cost of production of oil so that it was too expensive to drill for new oil. They wanted to cripple the supply of oil to drive up the cost of oil by using government regulation. So through government regulation, it's now so expensive for an oil company to drill a new well, it's not worth it from an investment perspective in the free market. The bitter irony is that market forces, not government regulation, are doing the same thing to the EV situation because it's expensive enough without government regulation to open a new lithium mine. And the prices for lithium have collapsed because the Chinese economy is in free fall. So the mining companies aren't opening new mines. They're not opening new mines. Battery-grade lithium prices are down more than 60% this year, while nickel, graphite, and cobalt have lost about 30%. A big factor behind the declines, a weaker-than-expected economic recovery after COVID-19 lockdowns in China, the world's largest consumer of metals. Slowing EV demand is also weighing on prices. On Tuesday, Ford cited the pullback for its decision to downsize its Michigan battery plant. The sliding prices mark a turnaround from when car makers rolled out ambitious plans to switch their fleets to EVs, and metal prices rocketed higher in what many analysts believe would be a year-long supercycle. The enthusiasm reflected the huge potential for growth. Electric vehicles accounted for 8% of U.S. auto sales in the third quarter. The Biden administration said it wanted half of all new vehicles to be electric by 2030. This year's plunge in metal prices shows getting there won't be a smooth ride. Now, you would think prices of the EVs would come down because the metal prices have come down. The problem, however, is that because the metal prices have gone down, it disincentivizes expanding mine production, which ultimately will cause the prices to go back up as supply shortens, which makes it a roller coaster ride for pricing, which makes it an unstable market for consumers who already do not want electric vehicles. In fact, the Wall Street Journal had a story the other day that people aren't buying EVs, that all the people who wanted them have bought them. And it turns out, as polling suggested, most Americans did not want them. And now the market's largely petered out because all the people who wanted an EV got an EV, and the rest of Americans are like, nope, don't want to have to plug my vehicle in to get a charge. The great EV boom is turning into a bust. Why? In large part because it is a government-manufactured industry with government incentives designed to prop up an industry, and a whole lot of people actually want nothing at all to do with it. The government trying to force people into making decisions, consumer-oriented decisions, rarely ever works. It's a lesson any economist could have shared with the Biden administration, but they chose not to listen. Now, Patriot Mobile listens to you. They listen to you, know you want to fight for conservatives on school boards around the country. So instead of just fighting for some of the causes you care about, they're fighting for conservative parents getting elected on school boards. And they've done so well at getting parents on school boards that they're starting to get attacked by the left for helping parents get elected against the wokes. They want you on their side. All you got to do is move your business to them. You go to patriotmobile.com/Eric. You move your business to Patriot Mobile, and Patriot Mobile then funds the conservative movement with their increased profits. It's patriotmobile.com/Eric. That's where you go, patriotmobile.com/ERICK. You can also call them 972-PATRIOT. That's their phone number, 972-PATRIOT. They have 100% U.S.-based customer service, so you call them, you're talking to someone in the U.S. You tell them Eric sent you, you get free activation with my name. You can move your existing phone number to Patriot Mobile or get a brand new phone number from them. If you have an unlocked phone, you can even move that to them. If you have a carrier-locked phone, well, you can get a new one from Patriot Mobile. PatriotMobile.com/Eric. If you want to see how good their coverage is, it's great. You're probably already on the cell towers they use. You can go to PatriotMobile.com/Eric, put in your address, they zoom straight to your house, and they show you how good the 5G, the data, the voice is. PatriotMobile.com/Eric or 972-PATRIOT. Give them a call today. Tell them I sent you. Get free activation.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hi there. Welcome. It is Eric here. So let me end today this way. As y'all should see y'all should see just how dark it's getting outside around here where I am. My goodness. And by the way, I'll be on News Nation tonight at 7 o'clock with my buddy Leland Vittert. I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. It is a uniquely American holiday, and other countries have Thanksgiving days. But this American Thanksgiving, it's celebrated unlike the way any other country celebrates it, with the turkeys and the sweet potatoes and the pumpkin pies. It is a celebration, honestly, of a free market spirit and a Puritan work ethic that has made the United States very unique. Something a lot of people on the left have struggled very hard to get rid of in this country is that Puritan work ethic and that idea of tying it to some sort of church and spiritualism. But we know, documented in the history of this country, in the mid-1600s, early 1600s, when the Pilgrims came to this country, and they nearly starved, they operated on a collectivist basis. Yes, in 1618, 1619, the Pilgrims operated on a collective basis, and those who had were expected to give to those who had not, and there was no great work ethic. And in the early 1620s, around 1621, 1622, by then, the Pilgrims decided they had to do something different, and in New England, they gave each person a plot of land, and it was theirs to own. Private property rights being given in New England. And each person there was told to work the field as best you can for your family, and the excess that you have can be sold to those who have not. And it was a raging success, and they thrived. Those first hard winters, where they sat around with the Pilgrims and the Indians together and ate and celebrated making it through a year, they began to thrive because they embraced private property and they embraced a free market entrepreneurial spirit and they embraced a Puritan work ethic. And this country could be reminded again that hard work and thrift pays off. We should be thankful for what they then did and the lessons to be learned from it, and we should be thankful for this country. We are not a perfect nation. We never are going to be a perfect nation because we're a nation full of sinners, and sinners sin. But we're a more perfect nation, a more perfect union, always striving to be better than we were. And you should be thankful for that. You should be thankful for the United States of America. You should be thankful for its existence. You should be thankful for where you live and your neighbors. No, we're not all perfect, and there are things that I wish were different, but I wouldn't want to live anywhere else on the planet. And those of you who would, well, you can move. But I am tremendously thankful for the nation. I am also deeply thankful for all of you, my listeners, and for all my stations who have taken a chance, to the new stations that have come on and those that are coming, to the people who work with me, who make this show possible. I'm very thankful very thankful for all of you. I wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. I'll talk to you next week.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.